Hey there again, guys. This is Shookin'. We're gonna be playing some more Ever17 today. Leaving off where we last left off. Takashi and the kid are down in this park called LeMU. The kid has continued to not be able to remember anything. He had a rather uncomfortable moment with a park employee. He saw a girl that he thought he recognized, but he couldn't catch up to her. But pretty much he's still in the dark. And Takashi, what? I think the last one was more focused on the kids. But anyway, Takashi just ran into this tanuki that he bumped into outside. So here we start back up. There, right in front of him was the giant tanuki. It was the one he'd seen at the gate coming in. The tanuki was operating a panel on the wall. I'll bet that's a LeMU employee. Thinking it perfect timing, he saddled up to the tanuki and called out.
すいません、人を探しているんです。知り合いです。アナウンスで呼び出してほしいんだけど、名前は
The tanuki slowly turned around and looked at him. But it didn't say anything.
もしもし?
The tanuki turned away, avoiding him. He was being ignored, obviously. I wonder if it didn't hear me. The tanuki was wearing a big stuffed suit and was a full head taller than him. There was a definite possibility that his words weren't even reaching the ears inside.
もしもし? 聞こえてますか?
Oh, that'd probably be rather unsafe. I bet some of the mascots or whatever at sporting events and amusement parks can't hear good inside those things say. It's rather unsafe, to be honest. He asked the question nicely as he poked the tanuki in the ribs.
ちょっと贅肉が多いんじゃないか、あんた.
He continued talking as he pinched, pulled, and released the tanuki's flame. He thought that for a mascot suit, the tanuki shot him a pretty realistic glare before it turned to walk away. Upset at that, he grabbed the tanuki's shoulder.
おい、お客が困ってるのにその態度はないんじゃない? He'd been gut punched. What an awesome looking thing to gut punch him. The tanuki had actually slugged him. Not even his parents had ever really spanked him before. It had been a totally cheap shot. The tanuki had landed a solid uppercut. こら、タヌキ! お前だ!
He went down to his knees and keeled over. Nearby visitors reacted. As they should. I saw a mascot punch somebody. I had a phone available. I'd put that crap on YouTube. Pretty sure that would be what most people do too. Or well, I don't know if it'd be tempting. It would be very tempting to do that. Try and run to help the guy. Well, I mean, I'd still go and run over and make sure he's okay, but that's something you don't see very often. You'd want to record that for posterity's sake.
お客様、どうしました?
Just then, a park employee appeared from the door.
お腹でも痛いんですか?
Yes, it is stomach pains. But it was the tanuki that did it.
タヌキが俺にボディーブローを.
あ?
The employee gave him a surprised look.
殴られたんだよ、いきなりあのタヌキに.
He pointed at the big tanuki. The tanuki's expression didn't change. That would be a quite a rigged up suit to be able to have it change that much. But it turned and started to run. The tanuki's silhouette pranced slightly away into the distance, and in an instant it had disappeared down the walkway. And everybody just let it go. So, I guess that goes to show you, people. You dress up in a big raccoon suit, perform assault on somebody, get away scot-free. Because nobody wants to stop a big raccoon, I guess. It probably works with other animals, too.
あれはですね。
The staffer looked after the tanuki as she spoke.
タヌキじゃなくて、レミュール。
Well, that's different. I wouldn't expect any sort of assault from a lemur. Takashi was completely his fault. Absolutely.
レミュール?
He rubbed his still aching stomach as he spoke.
そう、レミュール。キツネザル。名前はミュミューン。
Yimyun. LeMU had been named after the continent of Lemuria, a legendary land. According to the British zoologist Schlater, the Lemurian continent preceded the existence of islands scattered throughout the Indian Ocean. Lemurs were scattered throughout Africa, the island of Madagascar, Asia, and Indonesia. While investigating the distribution of these fox monkeys, Schlater came to believe a continent had existed in the Indian Ocean, adopting the British geologist Ranford's hypothesis. A lot of into that. He named this continent Lemuria. Moreover, the German zoologist Haeckel contended that this continent was the origin of mankind.
あの着ぐるみはレミューのマスコットキャラの一つ、ミュミューン。で、どうしたんですか？お腹が悪いんですか？それとも。
I think he just said what the problem was.
いや、もういい。もういいんだ。もう済んだから。
ああ、そうですか。
The staffer disappeared. Thanks for the caring. I see. That wasn't the tanuki. That was Mew. He wasn't sure why Mew had hauled off and punched him, but he knew that wondering about it wouldn't help. So he decided to forget about it. Actually, that'd be quite a fascinating memory to hold on to. I would tell the grandkids, yeah, one time a giant lemur hit me. He needed to be getting somewhere.
もう少し自力で探してみるか。
He muttered this as he composed himself. He knew there should be several attractions at the other end of this corridor. His friends might have been looking for him as they waited in line.
で、どっちに行きゃいいんだ?
His legs were so tired that he could barely move. This is the world's worst theme park. And that was exactly how he felt. Hit by a slight dizzy spell, he leaned against the wall.
なんなんだ、一体。
He sighed. He was fully and utterly beat. The staffer that had just been talking to him had vanished somewhere. Yu wasn't around either. He had lost sight of the other girl as well. Everybody's just ditching this guy. Actually, he didn't use though, that's right. He was alone again.
ここに何しに来たんだっけ、僕は。
He thought that maybe he should have waited where he was before after all. Having lost his destination, he rode the elevator from the aquarium and returned to basement floor 2. Basement floor 2 is Suete Stop. The second floor? I screwed up. The rest area is down one more level. He felt like he had come a long way from the elevator room. He didn't know which path he should take to go down. Which way?
ちょっと、こっちに来てくれない？
A voice called to him from somewhere. From somewhere. From the shadows of the path, the owner of the voice was beckoning to him. But the hand did not belong to a human.
ほら、早く来てよ。
It was the whispering voice of a young woman. Her bulky black arm was swaying rhythmically. Disturbed by the difference between the voice and its owner's appearance, he moved hypnotized in its direction. The hand and arm clearly belonged to a tanuki. It was a big tanuki.
ここ、どこだかわかる？
Why are you asking me that? You're the one in there. He was led by the tanuki into a room at the end of the walkway. Or rather, packed into it.
ここは...
Is this the girls' changing room? He saw a uniform like the one you had been wearing packed away inside an open locker. Hey, I can even see some women's underwear. Well, he may be an amnesiac, but get some stuff you don't forget. The room smelled like perfume. The air was saturated with a scent so strong it almost made him choke. The smell was about to overwhelm him. He struggled to get his mind under control and maintain his focus.
ねえ、
Yeah, he's
ここどこだかわかる？
having a lot of trouble with staying focused. That's for sure. The tanuki asked the same question again. Come to think of it, why was she a tanuki anyway? Yes, why are you a tanuki? What happened to you when you was young that said you wanted to grow up and be a tanuki? He had no clue.
ここは更衣室。
She said this before he could answer.
更衣室っていうのは内緒の行為をするところ。
She said this quietly.
行為？
Oh, crap. Suddenly his vision faded. Everything went completely dark.
え？それ預かっておいてくれる？
Look after. He didn't understand.
ほら、ちゃんと着せてあげるから。
Wear it. He had no idea what she was talking about. He didn't understand why, but he couldn't move. He was powerless to resist her and let her do what she wanted. In a moment, something completely covered his body.
これでよし。
They choose interesting ways to word this stuff.
じゃあ、あとはお願いね。
And the light sound of her footsteps faded into the distance. The last thing he heard was the click of a door shutting. He heard the sound, but he did not see her leave. What did she do to him? His face felt heavy. His body felt heavy. He had tunnel vision. And for some reason, his body was bristling with hair. Okay, wow. Could it be? I'm hitting puberty. I mean, that this is the mascot outfit? Yeah, okay, that's the second thing. That's the second thing that could happen. Yeah, the voice I'm giving him now is kind of fitted the first one. When he shook his head, it made a sound like bristles brushing something. And there was the smell. A smell. There was some other scent from inside the costume. A sweet smell that made him dizzy. It pierced deep into his brain. At least it's a perfumey type smell. I mean, why is he complaining? I mean, it could have been like some big sweaty guy who had been in the costume, who had been in the outfit before. I mean, that would be worse, I would think. So, lighten up, kid, lighten up. Could be worse. Before he knew what was going on, he had opened the door and was shuffling out into the pathway. Without thinking, he let out a cry. He had found it. Hey, it's that tanuki. He had just been told that it was not a tanuki, but Myomyon, or a fox-like monkey. But that information had already disappeared from his mind. I forgot its name. It doesn't matter though. He's the one that hit me and ran away. He didn't want revenge, but he did want to ask it why it had done what it did. Without making a sound, he slowly approached the tanuki, Mascots, Myomyon, and as soon as he got behind it, quickly grabbed the costume by the head. There!
I きなりあんなことしやがって。あんなことってしらばっくれるな。何のことだかわからないよ。お前だろう、俺を殴ったのは。違うよ、違う。知らない。嘘つけ、忘れたのか？嘘じゃない。女の人が突然この着ぐるみを渡してきて。
A girl gave me the outfit. Man, I've used that excuse. High times, yeah. Very, you need to think of something better. It's a very common excuse.
あれ、お前そういやさっき会ったっけ？いつの間に着替えたんだ？今来たばっかりだよ、僕は。今来たばっかり？おい、何言ってるんだ？だけど、どうしてこんな。
At that point, the tanuki collapsed. He collapsed in full Myomyon regalia. Yeah, it's not good. It's an interesting thing to write into, like, have trouble, being rolled into like a hospital on a stretcher in a big lemur. Guess I need to call it a lemur costume. That'd be a pretty good story for the doctor. So yeah, I had a big raccoon lemur thing that passed out earlier from a heat stroke or something. I don't know. Blah blah blah. Moving on.
どうした？おい。
Takashi shook his shoulders, but there was no response.
誰か来てくれ！なんだか様子がおかしい。
He yelled. Visitors watched from a distance.
どうしました？
A female employee had heard the fuss and came running.
あんたさっきの。ちょっとこいつ急に倒れて。
ちょっと見せて。
The employee took the pulse of the fallen youth. Takashi wondered if she had any medical knowledge. Wouldn't bet on it.
大丈夫。だけど、このままにはしておけないね。
手伝うよ。
ええ、お願い。
Why had this happened? He had no idea. No idea. Where he was. Where he had gone. Shaken, feeling ill. He could feel hair from the costume rubbing along both of his sides as two people carried him. Rubbing. He wished they'd get the mascot suit off him quickly. The fur felt nasty. It was hot. So hot. So hot he couldn't stand it. The heat made him feel faint. His consciousness felt like it would drift away. Why had this happened? It was strange. So strange. It wasn't him or her. He heard a different voice from somewhere. He had been hauled to the infirmary.
でもなんだろう、貧血？
着ぐるみが暑かったんじゃないか？着慣れないみたいだったから。
ありえるね。熱射病かな。
Yeah, heat exhaustion. That's what I was trying to say earlier when I meant heat stroke.
なんとかなりそうか。
うん。重い病気じゃなさそうだし、しばらく休ませておけば大丈夫だよ。
そっか。
ありがとう、手伝ってくれて。あとは私が見るから。
それじゃあ頼むよ。
He opened the sliding door and left the room.
人助けか。
Yeah, he really saved that guy, that's for sure.
俺はここに何しに来たんだっけな。
A cool breeze was blowing along the walkway. Breeze. But where was it coming from? He wondered where he had come from. He saw something faintly. A ceiling. Sheets. A bed. He had been put to sleep on a bed. On a bed in the infirmary. He saw something again. Below the sick room bed. Who was on the bed below? Who is this? This isn't me. Of course not. He decided to go further down the hall. The third floor underground they had called Dreamcast. The guys, they've got to be lined up waiting for a crowded ride somewhere.
すいません、乗ります。
He dashed into the elevator. The doors reopened slightly and closed again. Huh? One other person had gotten on. A girl. More like a young woman, I guess. One girl had gotten on. She was about high school age. The elevator floated upward in an instant before descending. There was the faint sound of movement and vibration. And then his eyes met with the girl's. He wondered why. The girl stared at him suspiciously.
何なのあなた。
Just got on an elevator, I guess.
どうしてこんなところにいるの？
Okay, well, that's what
なんでついてくるのよ。
apologizing to her. Because who are you? You've been following nobody.
お前こそ何なんだ。俺が何かしたか？
したわ、さっき。
さっき？
He was getting more and more confused.
つまり、あんまり邪魔をしてほしくない。だから。
邪魔って何を？
Whoa. Jolting suddenly, the elevator stopped. He looked at the ceiling. What's going on, y'all? No, like I've said, I have played this, so I knew that it was fixing to start getting real. So, I think I'm going to cut it off here. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I will be continuing this later. Farewell.